got FAU week this week. Excited to get another opportunity to play conference game. Really good FAU team sitting at 2-1. They've done a really nice job. The only loss was to Marshall and played Marshall pretty tough. So we'll have a big challenge on our hands, but the guys are excited to have another good conference opponent to play and try to get back on the winning track and get momentum in conference. With that said, questions?
Coach Jared McDonald, the news after Saturday's game, and any updates on KT and Dayton Wade?
No updates as of now. KT should be fine. KT had some illness all through early last week. It had a stomach bug, wasn't able to practice, and then also had the hip pointer that was bothering him pretty bad. But hopefully he'll be good this week. Piggy will be our starter again this week. And we'll see what happens there. Dayton Wade, like I keep talking about, has a lower leg injury. We'll have to see where he's at. We do practice today. We have elections tomorrow, the presidential election. So all of NCAA players are off tomorrow. And so we're going to go ahead and normally Monday would be an off day for our players, but we're going to get our practice in and then they'll have off Tuesday. So I'll be able to give you some updates once I get through practice today.
This is Nick Keyser with the College Heights Herald. So on the quarterback note, what would you like to see offensively this week as you go up against FAU, who's got a pretty solid defense so far?
Well, I think I think back to BYU, I thought we established a good run game. I thought the quarterback managed the offense pretty good, made a couple nice passes. The name of the game is when you throw it down the field, you got to be able to connect. And, we had some first drive of the game against BYU was a nice long drive. We weren't able to get it in the end zone. We got 3 points. Our first drive of the third quarter was a 20-play drive, held onto the ball a long time, got it down to the one, but couldn't get it in the end zone. And really, is that the quarterback's fault? No, but at the end of the day, he touches the ball every single time. And so when we get ready to throw the ball down the field and are trying to make drives, we got to find the end zone. So I saw a lot of really good things out there, some things we can build off of, but we got to go score points, and that's up to the quarterback.
Coach Jared with the Daily News again. I know we've talked a little bit about your commitment to getting the running backs going. FAU's, I believe, got the second best rushing defense in Conference USA. What specifically about their rush defense presents challenges for you guys Saturday?
Well, Coach Lovett, their defense coordinator, is an excellent DC. Been very familiar with him, has faced him before. He does a great job of, they're an odd front. They bring pressure and slant, and they have a lot of quick twitch guys. They're not a big defense. They just have a lot of speed and athleticism. And so, when your offensive line is trying to make blocks, they're able to defeat blocks because of how they are able to use their athleticism. They're really good on the perimeter with their corners. A lot of people have tried to throw it over their heads, and the corners have covered pretty well. So, when you face a defense like that, it goes back to what I always say is we got to continue with a good run game so that we can move the chains. And then, like you saw us try to do at BYU, we're going to throw it down there every now and then, and we got to be able to connect on those plays. Defensively for us, we got to play really good defense, got to be able to, to sustain, and their quarterback's really talented. He can run with the ball really good. Reminds me of kind of the Middle Tennessee mindset. We got to be able to control him and not allow him to make big plays. And so if the defense can keep the score down, and offensively, if we can, find the end zone, not turn the ball over, we'll have a chance in the fourth quarter to win it.
Coach Jared with the Daily News again, to kind of go off the running backs, when you have a commitment to try to get them going, it seems like Piggy's been running the ball less, only 2 carries on Saturday. Was that just the way the game went, or would you like to get him more carries, or how do you approach that?
No, I've done that on purpose. I've been wanting to let the runners run. We've had some injuries across the board, particularly offensively. Anytime you run the quarterback, you're taking a little bit of a risk. I do think we need to continue to run them here and there, just to keep the defense, on their toes a little bit. But at the end of the day, we need to hand it to our backs, let Piggy manage the offense, let him throw it. He's a good scrambler. You saw him scramble and make a run there. So he's going to get some runs naturally anyways. But that doesn't mean we won't run the quarterback, but we need to hand it to the back like we've done this past couple of weeks. And we've made a commitment to doing that. And I've felt really good about how our offensive line has performed. They've really embraced that challenge, and they've done a good job with it. So we need to continue to do that.
Coach, this is Nick again from the Herald. What do you expect specifically Nick Tronti to do against the defense this coming Saturday?
I'm sorry, you broke up. What against the defense?
Nick Tronti, what specifically do you anticipate him being able to do against WKU's defense?
Well, for how they play, I mean, they're built around the quarterback and the quarterback runs and getting the ball out of his hands and space plays. And, again, it goes back to we've faced a lot of quarterbacks that can run it and throw it. And we've had a lot of those challenges this year. And so really the game defensively for us comes down to controlling the quarterback. I think they've done a nice job. They got good talented running backs. So when they hand it to them, we got to get them down. And they got some guys out there in space that they can throw it deep to that can make plays. And so, defensively, I think if we can control the quarterback, don't allow him to make big plays, we'll be able to put ourselves in a position to go win the game.
Coach Tyler Mansfield, Rivals.com. I know we asked you recently, your schedule so far this year. Marshall's ranked now. Liberty jumped in the top 25 this week. BYU's up there at number 9 now. Just you played so many talented teams this year, and obviously great teams as well. Just how much does that help you guys out moving forward when you're going back to conference play now?
Well, we'll find out. You can either, sitting here Monday, you can use that as an excuse, and or you can use it as motivation. One thing about our football team is they take on each game as a new challenge, and they don't put too much into what's in the past. And they know they're about to play a good FAU team, and they understand that we need to try to make a run to feel good about how we finish the season. And so, yeah, we've faced a lot of good football teams. So I guess, that ought to help us with the competition we faced. But we're never going to use that as an excuse. We'd like to think we were very capable of winning all those games too. I think some of those teams are probably a little more talented than us, but seen a lot of football teams that were really talented that got beat. So the name of the game is playing good team football. And if we can play good team football down the stretch, we'll be just fine.
Coach Jared McDonald with the Daily News. Coach Taggart at FAU now, probably one of the bigger names to come out of the Western Kentucky football program as a player and as a coach. Obviously Saturday comes, you're going to want to win that game. You're going to want to beat him. But from a historical standpoint, I guess, what do you think he's meant to Western Kentucky football program?
Well, I think he's the one that really, from a Division I's mindset, put Western Kentucky on the map. I'll tell you, I like Willie Taggart. I know Willie Taggart. He's a good man. Willie does a really good job recruiting. His connections in Florida are spectacular. And I really think he was kind of the first coaches that brought in some really good talent that, you can go compete on a national stage with. When Willie left here, and I don't mind saying it, he left some really talented football players. And, Coach Petrino was able to play with those guys when Coach Brom became the head coach and I was here. Some of those guys were still here. I'd like to think we recruited well too when I was here and Coach Brom was here. But that just shows you the foundation that he built, and he will always have a very fond place in the heart of Western Kentucky.
And, Coach, to kind of go off of that, I think it was 2015 in the bowl game you guys faced USF when he was the head coach there. Is that correct? And what do you remember from that game against him as a head coach, I guess?
Very well coached football team. Play hard. They were a very talented football team. They had a really good quarterback in South Florida at the time. We were two evenly matched teams. We were two really good football teams, to be honest with you, two really good offenses. And I just remember, the speed that was on the field and how hard his players played. And we were fortunate to come out with a bowl victory there. But I see the same thing on film again at FAU. His players play hard for him. They're talented, and they expect to win. And so it'll be a good challenge for us, but one we're looking forward to taking on.